All right, welcome back. Judges chapter 16. All right, so this is the finale of Samson, the final judge in the book of Judges. So we're going to see how his story comes to a pretty bad demise, pretty fatal demise, unfortunately. But we'll get more into detail when we get there. A couple things before we start. One, follow along with your Bible. Different Bible versions say different things. Plus, we're human. We can mess up. So follow along with your own Bible. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Two,
look at God's word, not Clay's word.
exactly. Perfect way to put it. Two, the notes that we're using will be down in the description if you'd like to follow them. The link will be down there. Three, if we miss anything, leave it down in the comments below. Want this to be a place for information to be gathered, so put it down there. Let us know what you think, or if you have a theory, or whatever. Put it in the comments. Helps engagement too, so we'll take it. Four, I don't think there's any crazy names in here, but on my behalf, I'm going to apologize if I mispronounce anything. So take that as you will, because I've done it. If you've been watching up to this point, I've done it quite a bit. With that being said, we'll toss it over to you.
Okay, verse 1. Then when Samson went to Gaza and saw there an harlot and went in unto her. So this is after the end of chapter 15 we talked about yesterday. Samson took a jawbone of a donkey, killed 1,000 men. So this is after that we find him here in Gaza. How can I put this delicately?
Just rip the Band-Aid off.
He goes to a house of ill repute, one would say, to meet a lady of the night.
Yeah. A harlot is, modernly we call it a prostitute.
Well, I had
Band-Aid
a
off.
harsher word in my head, so I didn't know if you want me to say that or not. Anyway, Gaza at the time was a major Philistine city.
So,
It's been in the news recently for other things.
Yep.
Well,
I'm sure by the time this comes out, it'll be in the news a lot more too. So
pretty sure it's under Israeli control now, or it's obliterated, one of the two.
yeah, we'll see with the modern news. Yeah.
Estimated. Anyway, it's that place. Anyway, verse 2. And it was told the Gazites, the people from Gaza, saying, Samson is come hither, and they compassed him in and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying, in the morning, when it is day, we shall kill him. So the Philistines learn he's in Gaza, and they plan to kill him while he's there, because he just killed 1,000 of them. Yeah. They lay wait at the gate, and they kind of surround the city, thinking they have Samson trapped. And they're going to wait until the morning when everybody gets up, and I guess the plan is when he comes out of the city, they're going to, grab him and take him. At night, the gate remains closed in the cities to keep people out and to keep people in.
Think of like curfew in a sense, almost.
Yeah.
Really not supposed to be roaming around when the city's on lock like that.
Think of it like medieval times. They had castles. They raised the bridge up and at night, and they'd have guards out watching the city so they didn't get attacked. That kind of thing. Verse 3. And Samson laid till midnight, and arose at midnight, and took the doors of the gate of the city and the two posts, and went away with them, bar and all, and put them upon his shoulders, and carried them up to the top of the hill that is before Hebron. So at midnight, Samson literally picks the doors of the gate up, along with his two posts. So the thing that the gates were attached to, picks it up on his shoulders and carries it uphill to Hebron, which is about 40 miles away. And the bar and all means like he carried the, they would drop a bar to lock the gate. He picked the whole entire thing up.
If you're questioning Samson's strength, which I would be surprised if you were by now, but that is something supernatural. That is not a normal thing that is going to be done. That is ridiculously strong.
Yeah, some people think it's like symbolic, but I don't.
Yeah.
See how you could say it. He said it. He said he did it. Yeah. That's like saying that him killing 1,000 men was symbolic. No, he actually did it.
Yeah, and you get that idea. A lot of people try to rip the supernatural out of the Bible. That'd be an instance where they're like, well, it's just symbolic.
There are some religions that are more like modern day Sadducees that don't believe in spirits and the resurrection and stuff. So anything that could only be happening by a spirit or God empowering somebody with a spirit, they tend to go, oh, well, that didn't actually happen, even though it did. So
again, a common theme of that people forget is that the God of this time is still the God now.
Yep.
Same God. Don't
Watch
get that
that
mixed up.
episode.
Yeah. That being said, moving on to verse 4. So we're going to see Delilah come in the picture. And verse 4, and it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. So, if you know anything about Delilah, and it's not there, hey there, Delilah. It's not that girl. It's a different girl. She has Samson fall in love with her. This is different from the past relationship, as he was emotionally attached to Delilah. It's not just physical attraction. Like, I just want this woman. He falls in love with her. So
It's at least
serious.
like puppy, naive teenage love, right?
Yeah, and for what's about
He
to happen.
has some feeling for her.
Yeah, and for what's about to happen, remember that. He loves her.
Yeah.
That's going to be manipulated. The valley of Sorek is a vineyard/stream that was in between Judah and the Philistine territory. So again, Samson should not have been in this place. He gets in trouble the most at places he's not supposed to be at.
We talked about that 2 days ago when we were over chapter 14, right?
Yep. Something to notice there. Continue on, verse 5. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and said unto her, Entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. It's a lot of money. So
It's almost 4 times what they gave Judas to betray Jesus.
yeah, it roughly modernly this would be
Shows
close
you how bad
to
he is.
$25,000 to $30,000 today. Again, it's a lot of money.
That's a chunk of change.
Yeah, just to figure
I'll
out.
take it if anybody wants to give me that.
Just to figure out what this is.
What his strength, what the origin of his strength is, right?
So you can make a good amount of money. Also, with how inflation's going, probably can up
It's
that a
probably
little
more about that.
bit. Yeah. So just something to think about. But yeah, the Philistines notice that Samson's falling in love with this girl, and they take advantage of this. They tell Delilah, hey, play along, they don't really care how she feels. They're just telling her to, hey, kind of play into it, see where her strength comes from, and then we'll pay you if you do this. So she agrees. Verse 6, and Delilah said to Samson, Tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightst be bound to afflict thee. Okay, so this should probably put a flag off in Samson's head when, this girl is asking where your strength come from. Again, he's in love with her. Probably really not thinking about that. He probably trusts her. There's probably some
Naive.
mutual, quote unquote, mutual love going on there. Obviously, she doesn't love him enough to
Obviously,
protect
she
him.
doesn't love him because
Yeah.
she's choosing the money over him. So
Yeah, but she's clearly deceiving him enough to where he believes that she's in love with him or whatever.
not gonna say that.
Yeah.
She's a good manipulator.
Yes. So Delilah agrees, starts trying to find where his strength comes from, and she's very direct. So again, this should have caught Samson's attention. Like someone comes up and go, "Hey, how can I kill you?"
Yeah. What's your greatest weakness?
Yeah. It's like what?
What?
Yeah. Just something to notice there. Continue on there. Verse 7. And Samson said to her, If thou bind me with 7 green whiffs that were never dried, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Okay. Obviously, that's not what gives Samson his strength. So he lies here. He said if he's wrapped with 7 green whiffs that have never been dried, he'd be like a normal dude. Like you'd easily be able to kill him. So these green whiffs are most likely bowstrings or something of that nature. Them being moist or never dried meant they were at their strongest and most elastic state. So green means fresh. Look at vegetables and stuff. It's usually kind of think of like that, but they'd be hard to break out of. So again, think of like bowstring. If he was tied with 7 and tied down, he'd lose his strength. So kind of weird lie. I personally don't understand where he got that from. I guess he just thought of something off the top of his head. There may be a deeper meaning of that. Leave in the comments down below if you think you know what that's talking about, but just something to be like, okay, interesting. Continue on though. Verse 8. We're going to see the repercussions of this. Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green whiffs, which had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Okay, so the fact that this has happened, again, should set some alarms off.
Yep.
Samson, why are you allowing Delilah to do this, for this to be done with you?
Well, she probably waited until he was asleep to bind him, is what I would think.
But even then, how did this information get out when you only told Delilah this? Apparently?
Exactly.
There should be some flags going off, but the Philistines gather stuff and Delilah ties them down. Okay, let's continue on. Again, there's a lot of context there that Samson should have took away, but he clearly didn't. Verse 9, Now there were men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chamber, and she said unto him, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson, and he brake the whips, as a thread of tow is broken with it, when it is touched with fire, so his strength was not known. Okay, the Philistines come to jump him. Delilah's like, hey, Samson, they're here. On perfect timing. Crazy.
Crazy how they're here while you're supposedly at your weakest point.
Yeah. And Samson just casually breaks out of it, again with like fire, so really easily broken.
Like he did in, was that 15? When they brought him before the, yeah, 15.
Yes, Judah took him over. Yeah. But breaks out real easy, and he kills a man. So while Samson allowed her time down is unclear. Again, we don't know whether it was pride or ignorance. He continues to trust her after this event. So this isn't the only time this is
I think that would be the end for me. I'm gonna have to move on.
Like,
after you tied me up and then sent people to come kill me.
Yeah,
I think
good.
That's the end of the road for me. She must have been a really good looking woman. So I don't know. Obviously, this is Samson's weakness as women. Relatable for most men, but I mean, still, I don't know if I could go lay down at night knowing she's gonna tie me up with something.
Yeah, we're kind of bullying Samson here, but I mean, there's plenty of stuff we could probably look back in our own lives and be like, well, why did I do that? Or
fair
why
point.
Did I fall
fair
out?
point.
So this is kind of just Samson's on full display here. So we're understand that Samson's not alone in this. People of the world nowadays still do this.
Yeah.
Thread of tow, though, as it says there, is a very flammable dry plant, which would be easily destroyed by fire. So it's similar to Samson with the wisp he broke out of.
Think of like a really thin, like a piece of like string.
Yeah.
Like needle, like thread.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you put like a lighter or a match to it, just bink.
Yep, just gone. And then his strength was not known. So again, they still don't know where his strength comes from. So we're going to see this repetition pattern of trying to figure out where strength comes from. Verse 10. And Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound. Okay, so Delilah is she's staying consistent and she's being direct. Okay, you just lied to me. Where does your strength come from? So why are you testing to see when I'm weak?
She has no right to be mad at this dude. She's the one that tied him up.
Yeah. Just, again, something to be like, okay, if it wasn't clear before that this information got out by you, why are you now saying, hey, you weren't weak when they came to attack you? What's that about? Samson, he must be really in love with her, or he's just blinded by something. Maybe lust.
Well, there's that saying, love is blind, I guess.
He's fulfilling it. So, continue on. Verse 11. And he said unto her, if thou bind me fast with new ropes that were never occupied, then shall I be weak, and be as another man. Okay. So again, Samson lies. Second time's a charm, right? Continue on with that. And he says if he is tied with new rope that was never used, he will be weakened. So moving on from this other stuff to ropes. Okay, continue on. Verse 12. And Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith, and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson, and there were liars and weight abide in the chamber, and break them from off his arms like a thread. Okay, so basically the same thing happens again, except now it's with these ropes.
That's pretty much the only difference.
Yeah. So Delilah ties him down again. Philistines come out and attack him, and Samson breaks out of the rope real easily. Okay, pattern's repeating here. Verse 13. Delilah said to Samson, hitherto thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Tell me where thou mightest be bound. And he said to her, if thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web. Okay, so another lie there. But again, this thing that you only told Delilah to weaken you has now been done to you again. What is going on here?
My thing would be, why do you want to know so badly?
Yeah. Maybe Samson has enough sense to realize that I think her doing it, but he doesn't care because of what's being done.
He has, because of his strength, he's probably like, well, I'll just break out of it and kill the dude. It's not.
Well, we'll see that.
So he's trying to, for lack of a better expression, have his cake and eat it too, right?
Yes, exactly. But then again, that happens. Samson this time says, if 7 locks of his hair are weaved together, he will lose his strength. So that's weaving together. The web is most likely a tool for weaving close together. So just kind of think of that being in his hair. Again, his hair hasn't been cut, so it's long, and it's if you look at how hair is when it's uncombed, it naturally makes like dreadlocks.
Matted.
Yeah, well, it naturally makes like dreadlocks. Kind of, you can look it up. It's pretty interesting.
My hair turns into an afro.
Well, I don't think you're the same
ethnic
as Samson here, but that being said,
you are right though.
Yes,
I've heard that.
Well, you can look into the culture of like stuff like that, and how their hair gets when it gets really long. It's pretty cool. But
So you would
match that
be
weave.
able to weave his hair.
Yes.
To the point.
Yes. Continue on, verse 14. And she fastened it with the pin and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he waked out of his sleep and went away with the pin of the beam and with the web. So again, Delilah does what Samson says would weaken him, holding his hair in a form with a pin while he was asleep. Another one done. And she claims the Philistines are here to attack, and he attacks with his strength, still at its peak. So Delilah's plan, once again, does not work. And the pin of beam there was the frame of a weaving loom. So she did what Samson said would weaken him.
I mean,
but it did.
The dude carried a gate 40 miles. The little loom's not going to do much.
Yeah. That being said, now we're going to see something shift in this pattern now.
Yep. Verse 15. And she said unto him, how canst thou say, I love thee, when thine heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy greatest strength lieth. So Delilah is here trying to manipulate him and, make him feel bad that he's lied to her, even though she's the one that's betraying him to the Philistines. She has no right to be angry at this guy. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. Again, manipulation at one of its peak right here, as we can see.
If you're in a relationship like this, get out.
Yeah.
Okay, or you'll end up like Samson. It'll not end well for that relationship. I mean, definitely can't stay married in that relationship.
No, it's going to rip
Don't love a woman that doesn't love you, or vice versa. If you are a woman, don't love a man that doesn't love you.
Yep.
Verse 16. And it came to pass when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death. She nagged him so long. She was so persistent in nagging him so long every single day that he finally is just so annoyed and just like, oh, just shut up already. That, it wore him down physically. I mean, it says vexed his soul unto death, like he wanted to kill himself because of this woman. Which another sign, get out of that relationship. If you're grieved by your partner, that's not a good thing. Verse 17, that he told her all his heart and said unto her, there hath not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I will become weak and be like any other man. So, he is so, grieved by her doing this to him over and over again. He finally breaks down and tells her the truth, that he's Nazarite, and pretty much the only part of the Nazarite vow he's kept is that he hasn't cut his hair.
Yep.
And if his hair's cut, then his streak will leave him. That's not entirely true. His strength is not from his hair. His strength comes from God. So Samson doesn't even know himself, really, where his strength comes from.
This is a good example of where do you put your faith and trust in. We're going to see, again, later, how his hair was not where his strength came from. It gives a pretty broad example when he is on his last.
And we've seen it before the last 2 days. It says the Spirit of God came upon him. And that's where he got his strength from. Yeah.
So he's putting his faith in his hair. So here in a second, when he ultimately loses his hair, he's going to lose a lot of faith.
Well,
that shouldn't happen.
His thinking is, the only part of the vow I've kept is I haven't cut my hair, so that must be where. So, anyway. Verse 18. Yeah. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, and she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, come up this once, for he hath showed me all his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money in their hand. So, seeing that Samson is actually being honest with her, she calls the Philistines, hey, bring me my money. He's told me the truth, and so they do.
Very confident this time. There was definitely a shift in okay, I can tell he's telling the truth this time.
Yeah. Verse 19, and she made him sleep upon her knees, and she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head, and she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. So Delilah put on the charm, I guess, and had him sleep in her lap. And while he was in sleep, she had a man come and cut his hair off while he slept. After his hair got cut off by this barber person.
Yeah.
He lost all his strength, as he said would happen.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 20, and she said, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he woke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as at other times before and shake myself. And he wist not that the Lord was departed from him.
Yep.
So again, we see there where his strength is actually coming from.
Yep.
God. When Delilah tells him that the Philistines are here, Samson just thought it'd be like the other times, and he would just, jump up and handle business.
Goes through them easily.
But what he didn't know is that God, left him and took his strength away. He wouldn't.
Just quickly, because we have an episode over this. He's not losing his salvation here. He's just losing the empowerment of God that was.
He's losing his physical strength.
Yes. So it's not like God just completely abandoned him here. Again, we're going to see how there is hope still for Samson, but he broke the last piece of the Nazarite vow that God was holding on to for whatever reason, or maybe it was Samson's faith. Either way, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. It was done after that. Again, we've seen throughout Judges, there was a time God was like, I'm done, until you guys truly repent. And then they did.
Well, at this point, Samson is still, all about me and thinks he's all that, right? Mm-hmm. Which I guess he was, but not without God. Yep. So God is now having to humble him, to bring him down and say, hey, it's not about you. I'm the one that gave you all the strength. So, just something to think about. But verse 21, but the Philistines took him and put out his eyes and brought him down to Gaza and bound him with fetters of brass, and he did grind in the prison house. So they captured him and poked it, gouged his eyes out so he can't see anymore. After that, they brought him to Gaza, the town he had just, broke the gate.
Yeah.
Stole the gate, I guess.
Yeah.
Tied him down with shackles, which is, the metal bands it talks about.
Fetters of brass.
Yeah. They also forced him to grind in the prison, like the mill they have.
Yep.
We talked about, I think we talked about millstones before where, they grind grain like corn and stuff. So they forced him to do that. It's like total humiliation for Samson because here he was like this really mighty dude,
Yeah.
And now he's their slave.
Yeah. We can't see that whole turnaround. And what happened there one, it was all Samson's actions that led to this.
Yeah, 100%.
But it also didn't happen until God
allowed it to happen.
Exactly. Departed from that scene or power. So just something to think about there before we move on. It shouldn't have ever gotten to this point.
No.
Never should have. This was
sometimes God has to humble us so that we can see who's actually he's the one that's doing it, not us.
Yeah. Make sure to always have that faith regardless though.
It's better not to have to be humbled.
Yeah, you want to remain like, okay, God, it's all glory to you. I'm following your will. What do you need me to do? Samson wasn't doing that.
No,
and it led to a lot of tragedy.
Yep.
Continue on though, verse 22. Howbeit the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. So, despite all that had just happened, Samson, basically getting turned into a slave, him getting his eyes gouged out, going through this pain, it shows that there is still hope. His hair begins to grow again. This is showing hope because obviously, for most people, unless you're really old, your hair continues to grow after it's been cut.
Mine falls out quite a bit.
Well, you're also 80 years old, so
that's true.
Just a sign of God still being there and there being hope.
He hadn't abandoned him just because he allowed him.
Yeah,
just because he got the belt out and had to spank him. You're right. Yeah. When your parents discipline you, they're still your parents. They're not gonna. Well, if you have good parents, they're not gonna leave you.
That's all I love.
God is the ultimate parent. When he has to chastise his children, he's still there. You're still his child, right? He's not gonna abandon you.
Continue on verse 23. Then the lords of the Philistines gathered them together to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon their god and to rejoice. For they said, our God had delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hand. Wrong. That was not Dagon that delivered Samson in their hands. It was God allowing it to be done. Yeah. The real God.
Well, what's funny, when when the Philistines captured the Ark of the Covenant, they brought it into the house of one of their gods, I might be Dagon, but now that I'm saying it, I think it's another D. But anyway, they brought into the house the temple, and their god, their statue, or whatever, like fell down.
Yeah. So just let them know there. God's not going to take that lightly. But anyways, they gather a huge amount. So this is a key detail. A lot of the Philistines are here at this moment.
Oh, it's a big building apparently.
Yeah. And they're about to offer a sacrifice to their god, their false god, Dagon.
Yeah, having a really big party, essentially.
Yep. And Dagon was most likely their god or a fish or grain. It's like food. Again, having Samson grind that stuff was probably an honoring that god.
Well, and
Not really, but-
over the last couple of chapters, he burned their fields down, right? Yeah. And now he's grinding the grain that he burned. Mm-hmm. So,
and again, just because the true God allowed this to happen doesn't mean that the fake God is real. I think that's pretty obvious. Yeah. But God can use wicked men for His good. Simple as that. This is an example of
that. In Romans chapter 8, it talks about that.
Mm-hmm. Continue on verse 24. And when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, "Our God hath delivered into our hands our enemy, the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us." Okay, so the people are, after seeing what has come of Samson, praise their false god for putting Samson to a stop. This false god has stopped Samson. That's the only reason this happened. No. So Samson was causing huge trouble for the Philistines, so they are rejoicing at what they think to be a huge victory. It's about to be pretty ironic for what happens.
If you're old enough, I think the thing we could kind of relate that to is when they killed Osama bin Laden. Yeah. A lot of people celebrated that. So, probably a little more degree because he had killed a lot more people than that guy, but still, it's like a similar thing that we can relate to.
Continue on, verse 25. And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry, that they said, "Call for Samson, that he may make us sport." And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport, and they set him between the pillars. Okay, so they're all in a good mood. They're probably drunk. Again, it's a party. The Philistines call for Samson to come out of the prison so that they may mock, laugh, and possibly torture him. They're basically using him as entertainment. Think of like a jester. I mean, he's a slave right now. So they're just making fun of him.
It's more like they're throwing tomatoes at him, that kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. And they set him between two pillars. Again, key detail. This is most likely in an X formation, though it could just be his hands. But for whatever reason, he's between two pillars, and he is chained up to where we'll see him and he can grab
pillars,
him. Yeah. But between two pillars. Very key detail there.
That way he couldn't move, right?
Yes. But we're about to see.
He couldn't go, he didn't have freedom.
Yeah. Verse 26. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, "Suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them." Okay, so Samson asked one of the men holding him if he could lean on the pillars. His body has been going through a lot of physical drainage. So he's like, "Hey, can I?" And again, he's blind. He got his eyes gouged out. So he's like, "Can you lean me over to?"
That was probably the same young man that brought him in there.
Yes.
Because Samson can't see. Yeah. And he's never been blind before, so he probably has a real hard time getting around.
And the man does allow him to
do this. Plus all his strength is left him.
Yeah.
Right?
But again, this is where faith comes to mind, because Samson's already thinking ahead. Again, faith is great, but you got to apply that faith. You can't just, be like, "Oh God, please let this happen." You got to, work not for it to happen, but put that feet behind prayers, like I believe you said before. Have that faith, have some movement behind it.
I believe it's in the Bible.
Yes.
You could Google it, because I'm not prepared, but you brought it up. So there was two men that prayed to God for rain, but two farmers. But only one of the farmers prepared his fields to receive the rain. Yeah. Which one do you think God sent the rain to? The one that prepared his fields, right?
Yeah. So if you're asking God for something, prepare
to receive it.
And Samson's doing that.
Act like you have faith that God is going to do it.
Yes. Samson's doing that, as we're seeing here. He's moving over to what's about to happen. Verse 27. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport. Okay, so just on the roof alone, there's 3,000 men and women on the roof. And these lords of the Philistines, these are rulers. These are people of high importance. And there's just 3,000 on the roof alone.
Government officials, basically.
So this is like I don't want to get flagged for saying this. Think of like a big political party that would be having a meeting, and then what's about to happen. That's all I'm going to say on that. I don't want to get flagged. But this is a huge assembly of higher ups, if you will.
The one percenters of the day. Let's go verse 28 before you get yourself in trouble. And Samson called unto the Lord and said, O Lord God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes. So Samson actually gets a sliver of the point and realizes that his strength doesn't come from himself, it comes from God. So he humbles himself and asks God to give him strength one last time so that he could avenge himself for what the Philistines did to him. Again, he's not acting completely right. He's acting out of vengeance, and vengeance is the Lord's. But
he still has a dependency on God.
Yeah, so he asked for it, and we'll see God's going to grant it. Doesn't mean that
God endorses all.
Didn't mean that God endorses everything that Samson did, but He allowed him to do certain things.
Again, this is. The angel of the Lord told Samson's parents that he would begin to deliver Israel. So this is God allowing that to be fulfilled.
Verse 29, and Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it was borne up, of the one with his right hand and the other with his left. So Samson, given strength from God, after his prayer, he takes hold of each pillars. I'm assuming the ones he's tied to, and these are the ones that support the building, right? And so let's move on to verse 30. And Samson said, "Let me die with the Philistines," and he bowed himself with all his might, and the house fell upon the lords and upon all the people that were that were therein. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life.
Oh, that's a lot of people.
God grants Samson his request, gives him his strength, and then he has the hold of the pillars. He bows himself down and breaks the pillars, and the whole building collapses on him and kills everybody.
Yeah,
and it says there that he slew more at his death than he did in his life. And we know he killed
1,000 with a donkey jaw.
And
add up all the other times before.
At least 30 more.
Yeah.
So he killed a lot of people while he was alive. But so there was, just kind of shows you how many people were there, right?
Yes. We know at least 3,000, but
and probably more that were in the house.
Probably more, yeah.
We know there was at least 2 more than the lad Samson. So, but anyway,
just one swift move, the Philistines are basically left leaderless. It's a huge blow.
Especially after they were just celebrating, say, "Hey, our God delivered us from this guy," and then they died. So, at his hand. So, kind of ironic too once you start thinking about it. Move on to the last verse here, 31. Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the burying place of Manoah his father, and he judged Israel 20 years. His brothers, along with pretty much everybody else in his house, came and grabbed his body, and they buried it between Zorah and Eshtaol at the same burial site as his dad was buried. He judged Israel for 20 years, so that 14 through what we just got through reading 16, pretty much 20 years took place there. Important to note that Samson is not like the last judge of Israel. He's the last judge of the book of Judges. Samuel is called a judge in 1 Samuel. He's also a prophet as well, kind of like Deborah.
In 1 Samuel chapter 7, verse 15, it says, "And Samuel judged Israel all the days of his life." So it at least acknowledges that Samuel judged Israel, so he was implied to be a judge as well.
So when we said he's the last judge earlier, we were speaking last judge of the book of Judges.
Yes. And I think there's a reason behind that, because if you add up the judges, Samson is the 12th judge. Numbers mean a lot in the Bible. 12
tribes.
12 tribes, 12 disciples, 12 judges in the book of Judges. Awesome. There's a theme being built there.
So, Samson wasn't the greatest guy.
No, yeah.
By a long shot, as you've read. God didn't endorse everything. He didn't endorse very much of what Samson did. But he used what Samson did to judge the Philistines.
Yes.
So he allowed Samson to do what he was doing, even though he didn't condone it, didn't endorse it. But he used what Samson was doing to bring judgment upon the Philistines.
Yeah. I'd also say be careful of what you chase after.
Yeah. You'll find it.
Yeah. Samson had a lot of selfishness going on. He also, in a way, had the ends justify the means, and that's not what he should have been following God to the fullness instead of chasing after his own thing and then being like God will use it, or
it shouldn't have taken his strength and his eyes from him for him. Ironic that it took him to be blind to finally see where his strength came from, but it shouldn't have went there. I mean, and you can also see Samson had good parents. This wasn't his parents' fault. We're each responsible for our own actions.
Yeah.
So don't be like Samson.
Yeah.
But God will use his children.
Yeah.
To carry out his will.
Yeah. Be careful who you surround yourself with. I mean, he was not doing what he was supposed to, and that was his choice. At the end of the day, ultimately, always his choice.
Don't hang around the houses of ill repute and expect God to bless you. I mean, Samson didn't work out for him.
That being said, if I miss anything, leave it down in the comments below. I think it's my turn. I could be wrong. I'll just
might as well, dude.
All right. That being said, Heavenly Father, thank you for letting us be here today, Lord. Please help us to take something away from Samson and his story. Help us to grow closer to you, learn more about you. Lord, I ask you to open the hearts of us and the people behind the screens that we may truly seek after you, try to please you, and follow your will rather than our own. Lord, take away our selfish desires and focus on you and what you need us to get done and what you want us to get done, Lord. I ask you to forgive me my sins and the ways that I fail you in my own life to do this. In Jesus' holy name I pray. Amen. Like and subscribe and see you tomorrow for Judges chapter 17.
Micah and the wooden guy.
Micah.